Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Ready to dig into another fascinating topic today?
Always.
Today, we're diving into Chapter 5 of Beyond Green, which gets into the nitty-gritty of actually building your sustainability dream team.
Yeah, it's called Building and Managing Your Team. Really interesting stuff, actually.
So not just finding people who are passionate about sustainability, which is important, of course, but also thinking about the specific roles and skills you need to actually get things done.
Exactly. It's about creating that synergy where everyone's strengths complement each other, kind of like a well-balanced ecosystem.
I like that. And the book actually uses the permaculture model to illustrate team building.
Yeah, the authors say it's not just about filling positions, it's about creating a system that's diverse and resilient, just like you'd find in nature.
So where do we begin with this whole dream team ecosystem building thing?
Well, it all starts with identifying your needs. What roles are absolutely essential for your project to run smoothly and achieve its goals?
Right, so kind of like figuring out what plants you need in your garden to create a thriving ecosystem.
Yeah. And it's important to remember that every project is different, so there's no one-size-fits-all answer here.
But are there certain roles that are, I don't know, kind of universal for sustainability projects, like the must-haves?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the most crucial roles is a strong project manager.
Okay. Why is that so important?
Well, even the most well-intentioned project can fall apart without proper management. Someone needs to keep things organized, on track, and ensure everyone's working towards the same goals.
So the project manager is kind of like the conductor of an orchestra, making sure everyone's hitting their notes at the right time.
Exactly. And speaking of hitting the right notes, you also need someone who's deeply knowledgeable about sustainability itself, the sustainability guru.
Right, someone who can really ensure that sustainability is woven into every aspect of the project, not just an afterthought.
Exactly. From material sourcing to waste management to community engagement, they're the ones who keep everyone aligned with the core values of the project.
They're the heart and soul of the operation, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And then to kind of bridge the gap between the project and the wider world, you've got your community connector.
Okay, what does that role entail?
It's all about building relationships with stakeholders, local communities, potential partners. They're the ones who get everyone on board and create a sense of shared ownership.
So they're like the diplomats of the sustainability world.
Pretty much. And then, of course, you need people with the technical skills to actually make things happen.
Right, the folks who can turn those big sustainability dreams into tangible reality.
Exactly. Depending on your project, you might need renewable energy experts, permaculture designers, engineers, architects, the list goes on.
It sounds like you need quite a diverse range of skills on a sustainability team.
Oh, absolutely. You need people who can think big picture and people who can dive into the details, people who are creative and people who are analytical.
And of course, let's not forget about the financial side of things.
Oh, right. Money makes the world go round, even in the sustainability world.
So who's responsible for keeping the project financially healthy?
Well, ideally, you'd have a dedicated money manager, someone who can handle budgeting, fundraising, and basically ensure that the project's sustainable in the long run.
Right, because even the most amazing eco project won't last long if it runs out of funding.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is, you might not need to have all these roles filled from day one.
So you're saying it's okay to start small and grow organically as the project develops?
Yeah. Just like in nature, things evolve over time. Maybe initially you wear multiple hats or rely on volunteers, but having a clear understanding of the roles you eventually need will definitely help you plan for the future.
This has been so helpful. We've covered a lot of ground identifying these key players: project manager, sustainability guru, community connector, technical specialists, and money manager.
Right. It's a solid foundation for building any successful sustainability team.
But I'm curious, how do we move beyond just having the right roles and actually create a team that thrives? A team where everyone feels valued, empowered, and inspired to do their best work.
That's where the whole idea of fostering a collaborative team culture comes in, and that's what we'll dive into next.
Okay, so collaborative team culture, it sounds a little, I don't know, touchy-feely.
Well, it's definitely about more than just, having everyone get along. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels valued, where their voices are heard, and where they can really contribute their best work.
Right, because if people aren't happy and engaged, they're not going to be very productive.
Exactly. It's like tending a garden. If the soil isn't healthy, the plants won't thrive.
Okay, I see the analogy. So how do we create this healthy soil for our dream team?
Well, one of the most important things is to establish shared values right from the start.
You mean like what the team stands for, what their goals are?
Exactly. When everyone's aligned on the why behind the work, it creates a sense of unity and purpose.
It's like everyone's rowing in the same direction.
Exactly. And it helps to have these values clearly defined, maybe even written down somewhere so everyone can refer back to them.
Makes sense. What else contributes to a healthy team culture?
Communication. Open, honest, and respectful communication is absolutely essential.
Yeah, that's true in any relationship, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. But it's especially important in a team setting where people are working together towards a common goal.
So how do we ensure that communication is flowing freely within our dream team?
Well, regular team meetings are a good starting point. And it's not just about reporting on progress, it's about creating a space where people can share ideas, raise concerns, and, just connect with each other.
And it's important to actually listen to what people are saying, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Oh, absolutely. Active listening is key. And it's not just about hearing the words, it's about understanding the message behind them.
So shared values and open communication, got it. Anything else we should be focusing on?
Well, something that's really important to me is fostering a sense of diversity and inclusion within the team.
Okay, why is that so crucial?
Because when you have people from different backgrounds and with different perspectives, you get a richer, more dynamic conversation. And that leads to more creative solutions and a better overall outcome for the project.
Right, it's like that old saying, 2 heads are better than 1. Or maybe in this case, many heads are better than 1.
Exactly. And it's not just about having different perspectives. It's about creating a space where everyone feels comfortable sharing those perspectives.
So it's about psychological safety, right? Knowing that you won't be judged or ridiculed for speaking your mind.
Exactly. And that takes time and effort to build. It's about creating a culture of trust and respect where everyone feels valued for who they are and what they bring to the table.
It sounds like we're talking about building a real community, not just a team.
I think you're right. A community where people support each other, learn from each other, and celebrate each other's successes.
And hopefully have some fun along the way, too.
Of course. We can get so caught up in the serious side of sustainability that we forget to enjoy the journey.
Right. It shouldn't feel like a chore.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between, getting things done and having a good time doing it.
Okay, so we've talked about shared values, open communication, diversity and inclusion, all really important stuff. But how do we actually lead this dream team? Like, how do we make decisions, delegate tasks, and ensure everyone's moving in the right direction?
That's a great question. And that's what we'll dig into next.
All right, so we've assembled our dream team, right? We've got this awesome collaborative culture going on. Now, how do we actually lead them? What's the secret sauce to successful leadership in a sustainability project?
It's funny. You'd think there'd be like a specific formula or something, but it's really not that simple.
Yeah, nothing in sustainability ever is it?
It's true. But there are definitely some leadership styles that I think lend themselves really well to this kind of work. Like, remember we talked about adaptive leadership earlier?
Right. Being flexible, responsive to change, all that good stuff.
Exactly. And I think that's really key in sustainability because things are constantly evolving. New technologies emerge, new challenges arise. So you got to be able to adapt on the fly.
So it's less about having like a rigid plan and more about being able to pivot when you need to.
Yeah, it's more about having a clear vision and values, but being willing to, adjust your approach along the way.
Makes sense. Any other leadership styles come to mind?
I think servant leadership is really powerful in this space too.
Servant leadership? I haven't heard of that one.
Well, it's all about putting the needs of your team first. It's about empowering them, supporting their growth, removing obstacles so they can do their best work.
So it's less about being the boss and more about being a facilitator or a guide.
Exactly. And it really resonates with the whole sustainability ethos, because it's about collaboration, community, and working together towards a common goal.
That makes sense. What about like those big visionary leaders we often see in sustainability? Do they have a place in this model too?
Oh, absolutely. We can't forget about transformational leadership. Those are the folks who can inspire people to think bigger, to push beyond their perceived limits, to really make a difference.
They're the ones who can rally the troops, so to speak.
Exactly. And they're often really good at communicating a clear vision and motivating people to get on board.
So we've got adaptive leadership, servant leadership, transformational leadership. It seems like there's a whole buffet of leadership styles to choose from.
And that's a good thing, because it means there's no one right way to lead. What works best will depend on your personality, your team, the specific challenges you're facing.
So it's about finding what works best for you in your unique situation.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment, to try different approaches, to see what resonates with your team.
It's all about learning and growing, right?
Always. And something that I think is really important to remember is that leadership is not a solo act. It's about creating a shared leadership culture where everyone feels empowered to contribute.
So it's not just about the person at the top. It's about empowering everyone to be a leader in their own right.
Exactly. Because the best ideas can come from anywhere. And when everyone feels like they have a voice, that's when the magic really happens.
I love that. This whole conversation has really got me thinking about the power of teamwork and the importance of finding the right people to support your vision.
Me too. And it's so inspiring to see so many people coming together to work on these crucial sustainability challenges we're facing.
It gives you hope for the future, doesn't it?
It definitely does. And
Yeah.
I think this whole idea of building and managing sustainable teams is a key piece of the puzzle.
Well said. So for anyone out there who's feeling inspired to start their own sustainability project or join an existing one, what's the one piece of advice you'd leave them with?
I'd say don't be afraid to just start. You don't need to have all the answers or the perfect team in place right away. Just take that first step, connect with like-minded people, and go from there.
Love that. Start small, dream big, and build your dream team along the way.
Exactly. And thanks for having me on the deep dive. This has been such a great conversation.
A pleasure as always. And thanks to everyone for listening. We hope you found this deep dive helpful and inspiring.